Welcome to Built to Scale, the podcast where vision meets action. I'm your host, Quinn Schilz, founder of Master Roofing, and I'm here to pull back the curtain on building world-class teams, scaling companies, and turning bold ideas into unstoppable momentum. Let's get to work. Today's guest is not your average real estate agent. He's not your average story. Joseph Silva is the founding partner of CCG, a brokerage redefining what it means to serve clients in real estate. Born and raised in California's Central Coast, Joseph grew up watching his father navigate complex land deals, water rights, absorbing the mindset of generational builder and negotiator. Before launching his own firm, he spent 7 years sharpening his financial skills in business banking, where he stepped into real estate and didn't come to play, he came to transform. He's not just selling homes, he's building legacies, from farmland to industrial spaces, first-time buyers, and savvy investors. Joseph brings not just strategy, but soul to every deal. He is passion, he is personal, his mission is clear, to be indispensable. And today, we're diving deep into legacy, into business, into family, and into the future of real estate. So whether you're an aspiring agent, a seasoned investor, or someone hungry for a story about grit, vision, and reinvention, you're in for a ride. Welcome to the show, Joseph Silva.
My guy.
I told you I got you, bro.
I love that introduction.
I got
man.
you, yeah.
I love the research as well. You got
Absolutely.
a pretty sick setup here. You're doing big things in your field, bro.
Thank you, man.
And I'm super excited to have this conversation. We'll see where this thing goes.
Me too, bro.
Drive the boat.
Yes, sir. So you didn't just get into real estate, you were born into it. What's the most powerful lesson you learned from watching your dad build his empire?
It's all about the hustle, man. Grit. Just being able to push through the obstacles that life gives you. And like honestly keeping God as number one in your life.
I love
just
that,
understanding that you're just to serve more people, serve everyone.
Yeah.
You're not just helping people with transactions, you're helping people like expand their family legacies, like build like generational wealth in real estate.
Yeah.
My father isn't just one to help somebody sell a house. He isn't one just to help them buy a house, their first house, second house, third house, ag, whatever it is. He is an individual that becomes a part of their family.
Yeah.
Like once you start working with my father, you got a new partner, like in crime, so to say. You have somebody that is willing to go above and beyond for you, and you can call at any point in the day.
Okay.
And like just being able to see my father service his clients to the level for which he's always been able to, he always wants to, like, and he puts his clients' needs above his own, is something that I embody today. Because honestly, at the end of the day, we're just here to serve God's people. You know, and like and everyone here is like, whether or not you're a believer or not, you know, like everyone's someone else's God, like everyone's God's person. Yeah. And going out there and taking care of God's people, that's what it's about. And my father embodies that. He's just, he's a hustler. He's worked hard his entire life. And we've had some dry years as a child, you know, like there's years where he couldn't bring gifts to the table for Christmas. Wow. And now he's like, he's over the top. He's living the dream right now. He is stoked because he was able to persevere. God was teaching him lessons in those times of our family. I mean, our whole family was learning lessons in that time. And nowadays, we look back on it, and it's like, yeah, God was in every second of it. It's pretty cool. It's like pretty cool to look back and see how even through the challenging transactions, even through the challenging months in business or in families, like there's so much that we're being taught that we just need to start reflecting on. And I heard something the other day. I'll give this to you. I thought this was monumental. You know who Michelangelo is? The guy who built, the statue of David? Yeah. Right? And that's like just a big old, it's a block of rock. It's a massive rock. He's like looking at this big rock, and he's like, he somehow turned into David. It's just one piece of rock. And like, to wrap your head around that, to actually think about, like, he had one piece of rock, he had one chance, he created David. Yeah. Right? From a piece of rock. Somebody asked him, they were like, how'd you like create this? Like, how'd you know what to take off? What was in the rock? Mm-hmm. He said, I just started knocking away at things that weren't David. He just started removing the piece of the rock that wasn't David. Like, David's in the rock. Yeah. And I like applied that to myself, and you should apply it to yourself. Like, there's things that I think we have on our life that we have to remove from our life before we can actually become the man, the people that God wants us to be, so we can serve his people out there. Totally. And yeah, I don't know how I got into that, but
I like
that's
that, man.
something,
I mean, what comes to my mind when you say that is like there's so much noise out there. There's so many things that like don't need to be where in your life, right? And you need to be able to push through and get to like the root of who you are and what you need to be doing here and your purpose, right?
Totally. Totally.
So coal mines, cotton fields, Silicon Valley, your family history spans it all. How does that kind of legacy shape how you show up today?
Still coming up.
The answers that you're looking for is found in the silence that you're avoiding. The silent time in the Word, the silent time with God, the silent time in prayer, the silent time is where you'll have the answers. It's not about more inputs sometimes. Like sometimes it's about adding to, your tool belt, adding more, making more money, doing all these things. But there's a lot of questions out there. Discernment is found in the silence, in my opinion.
SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with zero down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford.
Oh man. Cotton fields, that's interesting you say that. I don't know if I said that anywhere. My grandfather was raised picking cotton. We're living lives. It's hard to wrap your head around, but it's interesting to think about. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. Like our family trees went through some stuff. I think it's hard for us to wrap our heads around.
Yeah.
Like they went through, like, you have some things that you're going through in your life. I'm sure you've had harder chapters. Like,
yeah,
there's generations of that in your life.
Totally.
And my grandfather wrote a book, Mirrors, Monuments, and Memories, and it's about his life, his childhood, the different business ventures that he started and walked away from. They all kind of compounded to the life that he was able to build for us.
Yeah.
Every single thing that he went through was necessary for me to be where I'm at today. And I have to think about that a lot because no matter how difficult life is, no matter how challenging things seem to be as an entrepreneur, you understand.
Yeah.
Like nothing comes easy. It's not supposed
Hell no.
to. It's not supposed to, man. And having the perspective that, we're just a speck,
Like our life just, no.
We're very insignificant, but we're significant to somebody out there, But
I had another guy on here, and he said, he basically said, like, what did he say? Like, you're gonna have like, do you know who your grandfather's great grandfather was?
No.
Right, because nobody's gonna remember you, so just do whatever you want in life. That's what he said on this podcast, and I was like, dude, that's such a good point.
It's so interesting.
Because you say like a speck, but like in the future, like nobody's gonna remember, right?
Nobody's gonna remember, but that doesn't mean your life is meaningless at the same time.
Of course,
like my grandfather went through some things.
Yeah.
That I probably can't wrap my head around that he can't explain.
Sure.
There's moments that they all mean something.
Yeah.
They're all forming us to become the people that we're going to become at some point, the men that we're going to be in the future, the husbands, the fathers that we're going to become. So going back to your question, like how does my family tree kind of like sculpted me to where I am today? It's everything, you know? Like what that book that my grandfather wrote about his life is like, so I wish everyone had one of those books for their family trees, like I'm actually inspired to write one for myself at some point in life. Which is interesting. You should be thinking about that as well. I mean, how cool would that be to be able to? I just did. Did you really?
Yeah, we're in the process of publishing right now. It's gonna be out in like the next month.
Is it about your life? Is it about entrepreneurship? Is it?
So I haven't announced it yet, but I'll announce it right now. So it's called Beyond the Roof: The Journey to a $10 Billion Success Story. So my vision for Master Roofing is to create a market value of $10 billion, to do $1 billion in annual revenue and serve 50,000 clients, right? And that's the vision for 2034. And so the book is basically written in the tense of 2034, looking back on how I built the $10 billion company.
That's interesting.
And it talks about how I built my teams, how I scaled into different markets, how I did everything. And so that book's going to be published soon.
That's epic.
Yeah. So for me, in my mind, it's kind of like a roadmap of like reminding me of where I need to stay and what I need to follow to get there.
Just give yourself some grace. You never know what's going to, I mean, nobody knows what the future holds, right?
Dude, like,
you can create a plan.
I think it's a crazy goal, and I honestly don't know how I'm going to do it, right? But I think the first step is like writing the crazy goal and not being afraid of it.
Totally. And put it out there and hold yourself
put it out there.
to it.
100%.
See what it can be.
So I didn't know how I was going to make my first $100,000 when I was, 14, 15 years old, but I wrote a blank check to myself, and I have it framed in my office now. So it's like, and then you make your first $1 million in revenue and all these things, right? So it's just like, first step is to put it out there. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think writing a book it's just do it.
Have to. But no, anyways, I think it's interesting to think about that we are the men that we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of history in our legacy, in our family trees.
Right.
And we have a part to serve.
Yeah.
And it's the life that we're living is not for us. It's for the future generation. It's for those that come after us.
So your grandfather made big moves in the 80s. What would he think of the way you're building CCG now?
Something I haven't really thought too much about, but it's something I wish I could ask him. He passed some time ago. Shoot, that would have been 13 years ago. He was an entrepreneur himself. He did everything from, repairing HVAC systems, mm-hmm. AC units, plumbing, raising ostriches and emus. Wow. He sold eggs just for fun, just because he could. He could make a buck out of it. He bought his first Porsche and Ferrari, selling pantyhose and socks.
I love it, bro.
At the flea market, bro.
And he bought a Porsche, right?
He bought a Porsche and a Ferrari, selling pantyhose and socks at flea markets.
That's awesome,
with
bro.
His kids.
Yeah, I love that.
There's so many ways out there to make money.
Did I say
if you just have the ambition to go after it and do it with excellence. Mm-hmm. Excellence isn't perfection. Mm-hmm. Excellence is doing the best you possibly do today and hoping that you're going to do the same, knowing that you're going to do the same tomorrow with whatever life throws at you. Mm-hmm. And compounding that with time, it's amazing what we can get done with the right perspective, the right people around us. And just honestly seeking to do more for those around you. I think the thing about entrepreneurship is you're compensated based on the value that you can give society. Society will compensate you based on the amount of value you can give them. As long as you're offering value to people, people will come to you for your services, assuming there's a need for it. Assuming you know how to offer the value to the best of your ability and you're really willing to stand behind that value, they'll continue to come back to you. So I think a large part of what we're doing as entrepreneurs is going out there, banging our face against walls, trying to figure it out, trying to mold ourselves, trying to figure out where David is, become the most valuable men that we could possibly become, so people can come to us and we have more value to offer them. They can eventually offer us more value. And it's just a flywheel effect. And anyways, to answer your question, I think my grandfather would be proud of me for starting something that's unique, because what we have is not like the typical agent out there. We're not agents. We don't even like to use that word. Mm-hmm. I hate that word. Everyone's an agent.
Right.
I don't want to be like what everyone else is. I want to be an advisor. I want to be something that people value. They come to me for answers. They come to me for advice. They come to me for solutions, problem solving. Yeah. And I believe that I'm on a journey. I don't know everything, but I know people that know a lot of things that I don't know, that I have the humility to lean on. Yeah. I have no problem telling somebody I don't have the answer to that question, but I will find you the answer. Yeah. I will figure it out for you. And the more and more I'm willing to do that, the more valuable I can become, because that's the more I learn. And the more I learn, the more I'm willing to learn. and go out there and ask for help, the more value I can end up bringing the next client that comes to me. And with time, we're able to offer more value. And I think that is something my grandfather would be proud about.
Do you think grit can be inherited, or do you have to earn it for yourself?
Still coming up.
The person you decide to work with in real estate, there can be a 3 to 7% delta in what you end up walking away with on the sale of your property just based on negotiation.
I think it's more than that.
I think
it's more than 3 to 7%.
It's definitely, that's conservative.
Yes, it is. You're being conservative. Yeah, because there's like, if you have a bad person negotiating for you,
you can lose a lot. I think you have to earn it yourself. But with that being said, I think it's interesting. I think inherited is different. I don't think it's innate. I don't think it's who we, I don't think going against the grain, swimming upstream, going the harder path is something that we tend to want to do. I think most of society wants to swim downstream because it's easier. I made a shift in my mind about 3 years ago.
Okay.
That upstream is my path. Upstream is the only path that I want to take, that's the only path I want to go on. I ask myself, and whenever I have a decision to make, do I go to the gym or do I not go to the gym? I ask myself, well, what's the more difficult choice? Do I get in the cold plunge? Do I not get in the cold plunge today? Do I sit in the sauna today or do I not? Do I sit in the sauna for the whole 15 minutes I told myself I was going to get in the sauna for, or do I, jump out 5 minutes in because it's uncomfortable? Do I make that phone call because I know I need to make that phone call, or do I not make that phone call because I feel like it's too difficult to do? I don't want to do that. I don't want to put myself in that awkward position. Whatever it is, I always ask myself, what is the more difficult path? What is swimming upstream? And I take that path. And the moment I made that shift in my mind 3 years ago is the day that my life changed.
What made that shift? What made you make that shift 3 years ago?
I took a bet on myself. I was in banking, as you spoke about, and I realized it was a comfortable path. And I've mentioned it before. The W-2 job is the most addicting thing out there. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It may be uncomfortable going to work every single day. You might blame other people, start pointing the finger. It's my boss's fault. It's this person. It's my colleague. It's my income. I realized it was a crutch for me. I walked away from it and I jumped into real estate. And I knew whenever I jumped into real estate, if I did so, I wasn't going to let myself fail. And I realized that for me not to fail, I had to do the hard thing. I always had to choose hard. And the more frequently I chose to do hard, whether that's sitting on the cold caller, in the cold caller box, that we had boxes basically for cold calling that we'd go in and soundproofed, and we'd go in them. And if it was sitting in there for 8 hours a day, if that was the hard thing to do that day, I did that. I did that consistently. I still do it sometimes. It's necessary to do the hard thing. And anyways, I chose to choose hard. And after I chose to choose hard, eventually, so many times, like after I did that so many times, I eventually just became accustomed to it. And it's led me to become the man that I am today. It's led me to a greater level of success than I think I could have dreamt of 3 years ago.
Wow.
And it's just this consistent choice of choosing hard.
That's inspiring.
There's 1,000 left turns that we take in our life, and there's 1,000 right turns. And it's pretty difficult to discern which way we're supposed to go. But as long as we're continuing to choose the harder decision, there's dumb grit. Don't get me wrong. There's dumb decisions. I think having the discernment to decide whether or not it's a dumb decision is a skill that takes time. But I would say that the consistency or the consistent choice of hard, no matter what, is always the answer. And that always leads to a greater outcome than the easier path, because each one has its downsides, right? More often than not, the easy choice might seem easy and less painless at the moment, but later on in life, I mean, there's regret, and that weighs way more to me than the difficult choice of choosing the hard path today.
What I hear when you're saying all this is discipline. Like basically you know that what you need to do. Everyone knows what they need to do. If you want to lose 300 pounds or whatever, is going on, you know what you need to do. You need to put down the donut and not do it, but you keep doing it because you follow the comfortable path, right?
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is discipline. Like you gonna do it, what you know you need to do, whether that, and most of the time that's not gonna feel like the right thing. It's not gonna feel good to do the thing that needs to be done, but you're gonna do it anyways. And enough of that, you build brick by brick by brick, and you're gonna start to see like a huge change in your life, right?
Brick by brick mindset.
Totally.
That is the way to go. Absolutely.
What's something in real estate that you believe to your core, but most agents probably would disagree with?
There's a few things that come to mind.
Let's go for it, bro.
Piss some people off. But I would say that what we already said, it's not about the transaction, it's about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And embodying that. Like sometimes we're put in positions as agents to want to do whatever the client says is right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of agents will lean more so towards that versus their own discernment.
Mm-hmm.
An example would be, I come across clients all the time that say, I'll sell my house for this dollar amount. And I could tell them that their property is worth that dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just use a number of $2 million. They want to sell it for $2 million. Okay, we'll take it to market. If it's, I can sell it for $2 million. I'm not going to lie to my clients and say, oh, we'll take just to get a contract. We'll take this property to market and sell it for you for $2 million. If I know that it's worth 1.8. Agents out there will take listings and tell their clients what they want to hear, that their properties are worth more than they're actually worth, to make them happy, just so they can get the listing.
But what's their plan? Just to get the deal signed at 2, show them it's not working, and drop it to 1.8. Like
eventually, that's what they're hoping.
That's what they're thinking to do, right?
And that works for some clients.
But you're not being integrity and being direct.
The property, yeah. I think in a market that's going up, okay, it's not worth $2 million today, but maybe in a year from now it's worth $2 million.
Yeah.
Something changes here, but in a 6 to 12 month period, maybe the property will be worth $2 million. Get them to sign a $2 million contract. You'll sell it if it sells for $2 million. You'll sit there on the market for 9 months. Maybe it eventually sell. We call that buying the contract. Okay. Agents like to buy contracts. Tell clients their property
whatever they want to hear.
Whatever they want to hear. Just get the listing. Contract to get the listing.
Yeah.
Eventually make money. They think about it from a transaction, standpoint. Right now, where the market's at, the market's no longer going up. It's pretty safe to say. Whether it's going sideways or downward, it's up for debate. Everyone has their own perspective on it. And each marketplace, every sub-market within larger markets are not equal. There's certain areas that are dropping, some places that are trading sideways for sure, that are maintaining value. But for the most part, the trend is downward. In other words, your property is worth more today than it will be tomorrow.
Mm.
If I tell you your property is worth $2 million because you told me that you think it's worth $2 million, you will sell at $2 million.
Mm-hmm. But
it's only worth 1.8, and the market's not going up; it's going sideways, if not downward. That means tomorrow your property is not going to be worth 1.8, or the day after that. So if I want to do right by my clients, I have to tell them the truth. I got to tell them the honest truth. And the truth is, if you take your property to market at $1 million and it's worth 1.8, you know what it's going to sell for? Probably close to 1.8. I can take a property to market at $1. And what determines the value of the property isn't what I place the price tag on the property. It's what the market tells me the property's worth, what the highest and best buyer is willing to pay for that property.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the property is worth. I can give you a comparison analysis on looking at the local properties that have sold that are comparable to yours. Mm-hmm. I can tell you an estimate of what I think the market's going to tell us the property is going to trade for. But at the end of the day, what's my opinion? I'm not writing the paychecks, or I'm not going to write the check to buy this property. Somebody else is. I can just give you an idea of what somebody would be willing to pay for this based on comps in the area. But whenever you're lying to your clients, whenever you're telling your clients what they want to hear, you're not able to stand up for what is right, what is real, what is reality. You're doing your clients a disservice. You're buying the listing. It's better to underlist a property, underprice a property, and get traction faster and get a whole bunch of clients to the table or buyers to the table competing to buy the property, right? At more attractive terms, more attractive closing terms for the client, or sometimes more attractive than the price itself, or more important than the price itself. But yeah, I would say buying listings is an issue in the market, is an issue in real estate as a whole. And I got a lot of clients that have aspirational prices, and I'll tell them straight up, like, hey, it's not worth that today. Maybe in the future it will be. I'll keep you in mind if something does change in the market and I think the property becomes closer to that, or something changes in your life. Feel free to reach out to me. Be happy to stay in touch with you between now and whenever you do decide to sell. But as of right now, it doesn't make sense for you to try to sell that property at that price point, because it's not going to move. It's just a waste of time and energy from both parties, you and I.
Totally. So it's just keeping them aligned with what's the actual reality, as opposed to just giving false belief and
false hope.
False hope just to get a deal, and then you're not really building that relationship because it's not built on trust in the first place.
Dude, false hope, false promises is riddled across real estate industry. Like, I feel like a lot of that's why it's difficult in my field to stand out, because everyone's got that car salesman kind of breath to them. There's a commission breath with agents. Mm-hmm. You can smell it on people. And nowadays, I mean, back in the day, it could work. Car salesmen did well for a while, but now everyone's got it's like ingrained in us. You talk about things being like I don't think grit can be inherited, but I do think like you can become accustomed to the way things have become, to the way people act, to certain industries. Yeah. And I think, there's a lot of false hope, false promises made in real estate.
What separates the facilitator from like a true catalyst of change in your eyes?
What do you mean by that?
Like in real estate, like there's a lot of people that are just like facilitating the transaction, right? But then you're saying you want to change, right? Like a catalyst change. So what separates those two? Like the person who wants to change it, you creating your own brokerage, doing everything, versus just other agents out there just facilitating the deal.
Couple ways to take that. The way I'm going to take this is I think a lot of people get in real estate because it seems like an easy way to make money. A couple people that want to sell property. How difficult is it to post photos online?
You watch Selling Sirhan and you see the commission, $200,000, and you're like, I can do that.
Yeah. There's so much more that goes into it. Mm-hmm. There's so much more that goes into it. And it's not just posting photos. It's not just creating a very attractive description for the property. Nobody cares about the description. It's more than that. There's more money that's lost in escrow than there is on the market. Like, how do I explain this? You're the person you decide to work with in real estate can determine there could be a 3 to 7% delta in what you end up walking away with on the sale of your property, just based on negotiation. On your agent's ability to negotiate.
I think you're being like, I think it's more than that.
I think
it's more than 3 to 7%.
It's definitely, that's conservative.
Yes, it is. You're being conservative. Yeah, because there's like, if you have a bad person negotiating for you,
you can lose a lot.
Yeah,
you could lose the upper echelon of that scale, the 10%, 7%, 10%. It definitely can exceed that. Mm-hmm. Conservatively, I think 3% at the very least, which is the commission, which isn't a small amount. Mm-hmm. We're talking $50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
you can make more if you were to choose the right agent.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to your question, I think there's a lot of individuals that get into real estate that simply think there isn't much to it besides posting up photos, looking at contracts, presenting the contracts, and accepting the contracts. There's a lot of money that can be saved or made in the negotiation of the transaction. A lot of money.
So if someone wants to go from banker to builder, what's the first mindset shift they have to make?
Swim upstream. Bet on yourself. Put yourself in a position of which fail or succeed. And failure is not an option. I had to put myself in. I had to take that. I got addicted to the W-2. I was. It felt safe. But it wasn't until I walked away from every stream of income that I had that I had, it wasn't until I did that I actually started working for myself and betting on myself and doing the hard things. You have to be willing to take that jump, that leap of faith.
So you talk a lot about legacy. How do you build one without losing yourself in the grind?
For me, I can only answer that for me. People you surround yourself with and God. My relationship with God, Jesus Christ. I think it's easy to... My father told me something early on that has always stuck with me. You only have one name. You got one name.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you always need to do what's right for everyone. In business school, I had this ethics class, and there's what is it called? There was this test, this ethics test you can think about. There's always frameworks to think about things, right? There was a framework that was like, all right, if you're trying to decide whether or not this is the right decision to make, this is the right thing to do, act as if every stakeholder knew the information that you had. Act like your client, your mother, your girlfriend, your kids, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, the world could see the decision that you're making. Would they agree with the decision that you're making?
That's a great perspective.
If you're in a position that's like, oh, well, this feels good because I know what's going to come of it. It's going to benefit me, but it's not right by everyone that this affects. It's good to step back and ask yourself, if everyone knew what I was making, what I was doing, what decision I had to make here, what would everyone say would be the right decision, and then making that decision. Protecting your name, because you only have one name. And the world's a lot smaller than you think.
I think I think a lot of people have lost that in our generation. Like you don't want to burn your name and you only have your name and your word. I don't see that with a lot of people these days with that mindset.
No. And I mean, kind of going back, there's a couple of things I said, but that and my relationship with God.
Yeah.
Just honestly starting my day in the Bible, having a devotion at the very least that I read through to ground myself.
Yeah.
Heard something the other day that stuck with me that I've been thinking about and praying about lately. The answers that you're looking for is found in the silence that you're avoiding.
Say it again.
The answer that you're looking for is found in the silence that you're avoiding. The silent time in the Word, the silent time with God, the silent time in prayer, silent time in worship. The silent time is where you'll have the answers. It's not about more inputs sometimes. Sometimes it's about adding to, your tool belt, adding more, making more money, doing all these things. But there's a lot of questions out there. Discernment is found in the silence, in my opinion. And I think that's served me well in the last 2 years, specifically since I've kind of started building this relationship with Christ. Seeking silence. There's moments in my life. There's moments that I've had in silence that I can't explain.
Still coming up.
So you specialize in everything from land to industrial. What's one asset class that's completely misunderstood that you think might explode?
It's like, that's that. What? How did that just happen? I hear something or something happens in my moments of prayer. Like, oh, I'm going to step into that. Let's just see what happens. Here's a great example. This is personal. I was in prayer one morning. I was in the Bible, and I usually kind of pray myself out. Like, all right, thank you for this word, whatever. Bless this day. I just sat there in silence. I didn't know what to say that day. I was sitting next to the fire, and I was looking at my Bible, and I was just like, what am I praying for right here? My grandfather came to mind. I thought to myself, God, I thank you for this morning. Thank you for this word. If you can do me a favor, just tell my grandfather I love him. And almost like I heard it vocally, bro. I felt something tell me, tell your grandmother I love her. I thought about it for a second. I was like, tell my grandmother that God loves her. I was like, yeah. I feel like what I heard or what I felt was, tell my grandmother my grandfather loves her, and that she's safe, that she's protected, that he's watching over her. Another framework that I ask myself a lot, or a question I pose on myself, is what would a man without ego do? And in that moment, I asked myself, what would a man without ego do? Call his grandmother and tell her that, hey, I was in prayer this morning. Grandfather said that he loves you, right? I was like, that's an easy one to accomplish. I can do that. So I called her. It was like 7:30 in the morning, called my grandma, and she's like, oh, just about to check my blood pressure. I said, oh, great. How is it? She's like, oh, I don't know yet. I was like, all right, well, yeah, just in prayer, and I thought about you, and I was praying. I asked God to say I love you to Grandpa, and I felt like my grandfather told me to, I think Pop told me to tell you that he loves you. She was like, that's interesting. I said, what? She's like, I dreamt about him all night. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I felt good. I was like, all right, well, I love you. Have a great day. Got off the phone. She calls me 5 minutes later, bro. I say, hey, what's going on? She's like, I just checked my blood pressure and I was recording. I was like, hey, how does it look? She's like, it's fine. She's like, I had to record it with the calendar, and I looked at the calendar. Today is our anniversary. I said, what? She's like, today is your grandfather and I's, what would be our wedding anniversary. I was like, what? She's like, you didn't know that? I was like, I don't even know your birthday, Grandma. Like, I don't know your anniversary.
Wow.
And not even knowing that was going to be a difficult time for her, that difficult day, which it always is, I got to have that moment with her and share that with her. And that's just an answer, going back to what I was saying, the time in prayer, the time in silence. It's weird what comes to mind, what happens in those times, and I can't explain it, but whenever you make it a practice to start your day with that, it's funny how often what you read in the Bible, you read in your devotional, you pray about in silence comes about in your life.
And then you actually took action on that. You thought it, and then you called her. And then
dude,
you find that's when you're telling this story, I'm thinking something similar, and it's weird.
Tell me.
So, no, I don't go and visit. My grandfather passed away, and my grandma's still alive. My grandma's going to be, I think, 96. And so...
That's a great life.
Yeah.
96.
Yeah. And I don't see my grandma or talk to her as much as I should. But I've had it before where, I've gone, to my grandpa's cemetery, and, I've kind of been outside of his grave and talking to him. And there's been times where I'm feeling almost like a feeling of like I should take care of my grandma, or I should go see my grandma, or I should bring my grandma flowers or different things, not exactly what you said, where it's you heard this from thing, but it's kind of interesting. And then now how you played out the whole thing, it makes me think I don't know how I personally believe all that stuff about if you can talk and all this stuff, but sometimes you do. And so, yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything that comes out of this, if it's that, think about that, because I can't say I heard something, but
dude,
I felt it.
But the fact that it was their anniversary,
it's a trip. I can't I can't make that up.
And we're doing this on podcast, so I'm sure other people can relate as well. But that's awesome.
like you said, don't be afraid to take action. Ask yourself that question: what would a man without ego do? And especially whenever it comes to grandma, it's like
it doesn't hurt. It's not hurting anyone. Like you're just.
Who does that hurt?
Yeah,
nobody.
I love that.
It's an easy one to do. I've asked myself that in a lot of random questions.
What would a man without ego do? I like that.
Yeah.
So you specialize in everything from land to industrial. What's one asset class that's completely misunderstood that you think might explode?
I think the most resilient asset class to be invested in is multifamily.
Okay. Because everyone needs a home?
Everyone needs a home. Renters are not renters. They're renters by necessity.
Yeah, and isn't this generation like going more towards like a renting generation? Like it's a homeowner. Do you not? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Think about it. I mean, the average home sale in San Diego is pretty dang close to $1 million.
Yeah.
You can't make it. You can't purchase a home for $1 million if you're making less than $100,000. You can't purchase $1 million home if you're making $150,000
a
year.
Able to make the interest payments and everything.
Not when a dozen eggs cost you $10 nowadays.
Right.
The cost of living has gone through the roof. People are renters by necessity, and people will always need a place to rent, always need a place to live. And the beautiful thing about multifamily investing is that the value of the property is almost 100% determined by the income that it produces. There's a lot of multifamily assets out there that are owned by individuals that have owned them for 20, 30 years that have rental rates that are half of what they should be.
Mm.
If you are able to buy that property on a cap rate and then sell it on a cap rate that's stabilized, you can buy a property that is not stabilized probably for, mid threes, mid fours, depending on location. Cap rate is, what a cap rate is.
It's like the percentage you get back on the investment, right? Like
the cap rate is the net operating income divided by the value of the property.
Can you explain that in simple terms?
Yeah. So,
like if your 10-year-old brother was watching, how would you explain it to him?
Yeah.
The money the property makes after all the expenses. What are you left with? The profit.
Yeah.
Divided by
the value of the property.
Okay, so
if a property makes $60,000 a year, let's just assume there's 30% in expenses. What's the math on that? Can you help us out with the math on that, Micah? Say 60,000 times 0.7, 42,000. Okay. If that property sold for $1 million, it was making $60,000 in income, but with expenses and everything that come out of the property, you're only netting $42,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
If it's sold for $1 million, that means it's selling at a 4.2 cap.
Okay.
4.2% is the annual income of the property divided by the value for which you're buying the property, $1 million. Now let's say that that property had the potential of making $100,000. 70% of that, okay, because we're going to take the same math here, right? 70% in income is what you keep because it's 30% in expenses. So now you have $70,000 that you're making. If you can extract, if you can basically, let's say if you sold the property for the same cap rate you bought the property at, 4.2%, do $70,000 divided by 4.2%. Moments like these.
You look like you're playing a video game over there.
Say that again.
It says 281,000.
No, so do 70,000 divided by 0.042.
Don't put the percent, just the decimal.
That's okay. Million what?
1,666,666.
Yeah. If you were able to sell the property for the same cap rate that you bought the property for, you just forced $600,000 in value in that property. Now
By raising the net income, right?
By raising the net income.
And then is the cap rate kind of determined by comps?
Exactly. So there's two different. So there's stabilized cap rates, which is the property is doing as well as it could be. That's stabilized. And then there's performa cap. There are cap rates based on performance. So there's properties
Proforma meaning like what it could be if you do
doing.
this and that to it. You fill it up with these tenants and now okay.
So the entry cap rate for a property for that one was 4.2.
Yeah.
And the truth is cap rates let's just say stabilized cap rate's at a 5%. So you buy it at 4.2, you increase the income quite a bit by, I don't know, quite a bit. We did the math on it. And then you sell it at 5% versus a 4.2%. The number isn't $600 to $1,000. It's probably closer to $400,000, $500,000. But the point is, you can force the value of the property by simply increasing the income of the property. It's very simple to do, assuming you can get the tenants out. But it's very simple. You get tenants out, you renovate the units, you rent the units out for market rents.
That automatically increases your
the
net
value
income.
of the property, the value of the income goes up,
and then the
value of the property goes up exponentially. So I think multifamily right now is just safe. It's always safe. It's recession resistant, or resilient, I should say. Recession resilient.
How can a first-time investor think like a seasoned pro from day one?
Lean on others. Have humility. You don't know it all. You can't learn it all in a book. A book's not going to be
Who would you go to?
Go to an advisor. Go to somebody that does this. Pay to be invested with somebody. Invest with somebody that does this. Or call CCG. The guys that know the people that have been doing this for a while. I'm helping clients do this. I'm talking to hundreds of investors that have different investing strategies. I know what's working, what's not working. I know what I'm seeing more of, what I'm seeing less of.
Yeah.
Flippers aren't very
The
prominent
brokers
right now.
know. The brokers that are doing the work, like making the deals happen, know what's going on, because you have all the other clients that are doing it. So they're telling you what works, what's not. This deal works because of this. This deal doesn't work, and you know all the information.
I live and breathe this.
Yeah.
Unless you live and breathe real estate, it's kind of hard to understand where the market is, where the opportunities are. I see where the markets and the opportunities are right now. Down in San Diego specifically, ADU development is lucrative. You buy a single family home on a 7,000 square foot lot. That's a total of 800 square feet, like 800 square foot home on a 7,000 square foot lot. You could throw 7, 8, 9 ADUs in the backyard.
Is there like a rule or statute of limitations or something of like, based on the zoning probably, of how many you can build, right?
There's a lot of laws, yeah. The bonus ADU program in San Diego is just something that's worth knowing about. Yeah. Worth educating yourself on. Yeah. If you have a large lot with a small home on it, slammed in the front or slammed in the back, there's so a lot of room for it. So much you can be doing with that. So much you can be doing with it. I have clients that are buying single family homes on 7,000 plus square foot lots. $800,000, $850,000 if they find a good deal, just a beater, just a tear down home. They build 9 ADUs in the back. After they build those 9 ADUs, I mean, each ADU is basically going to get them about $2,000 a month. Let's just say conservatively. Let's say 10 units total, because that front house is already there. You have 10 times 2,000. That's $20,000 a month in income coming out of that property. If you do that on a cap rate for 5%, it's probably close to about $3 million.
It's a missed opportunity by a lot of people.
There's so much money to be made in real estate, man. If you know what's working, what's not working, and you know the right people.
You need to get around the right people to get the right information.
Lean on the people that understand what's going on, that have the resources to get you the answers, to give you the opportunities to make money. Don't try to figure it out on your own.
So you call yourself indispensable. How do you actually become that in a client's life?
Just by going above and beyond.
Love it.
People come to me not because they can't sell properties on their own. Anybody can sell their house on their own. Again, as we already discussed, you can make a lot of money or save a lot of money by simply hiring somebody that knows what they're doing, knows how to run a process, knows how to negotiate, make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. You can sell your property on your own. I'm indispensable because not only can I make sure that my clients sell their property for the most amount of money because I've done it enough times that I have a process that doesn't allow anything to fall through the cracks, and I know how to negotiate buyers against each other to get over ask price on the sale with ideal terms. I'm not indispensable because I can make them money. I'm indispensable because they know whenever they come to me, they can trust me. And that I have their best interest in mind. Not mine. It's not about the paycheck for me. The paycheck comes. For me, the value isn't in the transaction. It's in the relationship. I don't want to be the broker of this transaction. I want to be the broker for your family. The people that you bring to me, that you trust me with because I've taken care of you. I'm indispensable because they know they can trust me.
I love it. You said it's not just a transaction, it's transformation. What do you mean by that?
Where did I say that? Under what context did I say that?
I'm not sure. I have it here. Do you remember saying that? It's not a transaction, it's transformation. You say a lot of things.
I say a lot of things. I mean it. I wonder what I said that under what preface. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I got different ways to take it, but...
So what does exceptional customer service look like when millions of dollars are on the line?
Again, going back to it, above and beyond.
Yeah.
Doing almost what's unreasonable.
Yep.
Here's a great example of what we do for our clients. This isn't unreasonable. I think this is necessary.
Okay.
You're going ahead and you're going to buy a property. What's the first thing you're going to do whenever you get into escrow?
Beat them up over the price and get an inspection.
Get an inspection and then beat them up over the price.
Yep.
What happens if I already have the inspection in hand and I provide it to you and I say, write your offer reflecting the inspection?
You're holding a good card.
I'm holding a pretty good card. A lot of money's lost in the sell of a transaction, not before it goes into escrow, but after it's in escrow. Tens of thousands of dollars are lost on the table, if not more. Hundreds of thousands of dollars if it's something major. Tens of thousands of dollars at the very least are lost in escrow if you don't have your agent buy you the inspections. I buy my clients all their inspections on their property. If it looks like they need a new roof, I'm not only going to get that inspected, I'm also going to get a quote on it. I want to know everything that could be possibly wrong with this property, and I want to know how much it's going to cost to replace.
Dude, that's so huge.
I don't want anyone that
So
I go into
huge.
escrow with to have a single up leg on me. I don't want them to have some information that I don't already have.
So all my sales guys have to reach out to real estate agents all the time to
Okay.
basically have a script, and it's basically like, hey, you know, if you have a listing, we're gonna help you out. Like, you're gonna have your inspection on the front end, and like, you know, all that stuff. So that's huge because a lot of real estate agents don't fucking do that.
No,
And they're just waiting for
they leave it up to the buyer.
Yeah, and then their only negotiation tactic is going to say, oh, we have a backup offer. So, like, and then they're going to be like, okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
we're not going to buy this house because it has all these problems. But you're coming with a different perspective, like, hey, we're letting you know all this up front.
Yeah.
And this is so you want to know. I think a lot of agents maybe are scared because they don't want to, like, know the problems, right? They're like, hopefully nobody finds it. But instead,
Face
you're
the
just like,
problems.
you face the problems. You're just like, I'm going to get out in front of it, and we're going to have a contingency for this so that this doesn't bite us later down the road.
I want to know everything.
That's so
wrong.
sharp, bro. that
I
you do
I
that.
pay for the inspections for my clients. I
Yeah.
pay for the home inspection as well as the pest inspection. And there's a foundation issue that we know about that we uncover. I'm going to pay for the inspection on that.
So sharp, bro.
I'm going to pay to get that inspected and figure out how much it's going to cost to repair. I'm going to pay for that roof inspection. You got a well. I'm going to pay to have that pumped. I want to make sure that that's doing well. Your septic, let's get that inspected. I want to know everything.
By the
that
time
possibly go
they're
here.
like sending their inspector over, you're like, hey, check out all these reports. We already know about this stuff. Like,
Before you write an offer, oh, here's our deal room link. I have a Google Drive for all my clients, all of our transaction. Here's a deal room link with all disclosures. Sign off on these before you write your offer.
wait, so you basically are like making them acknowledge that the
They
roof could
saw it.
cost you $50K.
Yeah.
They see, so don't come to me in a week when you have your home inspection. You already go back to that room, that Google Drive or whatever, and you're gonna find everything.
Totally.
Dude, that's so fucking
What
smart.
works? How this works?
How did you
the
figure that
best?
out?
Transactions.
I love that.
The way it works the best. There's different markets that do a little bit more. The Bay Area, one of the better markets, very competitive. They do that. That's second nature up
So
there.
do you tell this in your like listing presentation to a client, like we're gonna do all these things, and
Well, we have to tell our clients that we're not just a typical agent here. And that's just one of the services that we just offer free of charge. And that's not coming out of your pocket. It costs us a couple $1,000s to get all these inspections done, photography, marketing, all these other things. All these things cost money, but we'll go above and beyond and buy the inspections that are necessary for this property because we know that at the end of the day, the $1,000, $2,000 that it costs us to get all these inspections handled on the front end, it's going to save you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, tens of thousands of dollars on the back end. Not to mention the headaches that we can avoid together. And honestly, for me, avoiding any headaches in escrow is worth $2,000. I'll pay $2,000 and avoid any headaches in escrow all day long.
So you talk about building trust with every handshake. How do you build trust in a digital first world?
That's what we're doing here. I think at long form content, helping people understand who the man I am before they get to meet me, is I think why I'm jumping on podcasts now, and I think that's why you're doing it as well. Nobody knows you from Adam. You know, they see a couple marketing reels, they see a couple posters, a couple trucks drive by.
Yep.
They don't know who you are as a man, and they won't have the chance to know you as a man until they get the opportunity to meet you at their house whenever you're trying to sell them on something. Sell them. Whenever you're trying to help them with something. Having the opportunity to have open dialogue like this with people, hearing your responses, like, it makes people comfortable.
Yeah.
In a digital world, I think it's about putting yourself out there, being uncomfortable in front of a camera.
Yep.
With these lights, with these mics, having an open dialogue, just being real. Mm-hmm. Whether it's crude humor or not, like, just showing people that you're a human and that you're a decent dude. You're not just like some average Joe out there. I think it's the only way to build rapport with people is long form content. That's why, so to answer your question, here, podcasts. I'm going to do more of these. I want more people to know the man I am. Not
People
just
buy
about
people,
like what I do.
People buy people, not a brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I work with lenders
wanna be
not
part of
because
your
they have the best
story.
options, because they take care of my clients the best. They're the coolest people to work with. They're the nicest people. I work with people, not for their products, but for the people that they are, because they are a reflection of who I am.
What was the conversation like the day you and Armand decided to found CCG?
The day that Vision was born was the day that we identified that the clients that we enjoy working with the most are those that are, we originated CCG the day we realized the clients that we could help the most were the investors that were being underserved.
Okay.
There's a lot of real estate agents out there. They don't understand how to invest in real estate. They have never owned investment properties.
Yep.
They've never flipped a property. They've never worked with a developer. They don't know what it looks like to underwrite a multifamily asset or to talk to developers about what's possible in industrial properties. They don't know where the money's made. They don't know how to make money in real estate. And I've worked with enough individuals at this point that I feel comfortable being able to communicate to investors that don't have those relationships and offer them guidance and get them connected with the people that have done these things, that have the blueprints, that have seen success. We quickly identified after a year and a half of working together that the clients that we were able to bring the most value to were the investors, the sub-institutional investors. My colleague, Armand, he was working with a large fund, about $100 million. They're making $20 to $50 million acquisitions across the United States, Sunbelt states, underwriting. He got to see what it looked like to be a part of an institutional advisory team, what it looked like to advise institutional investors on how to place their money, to invest their money in real estate. What we quickly identified is there isn't that in sub-institutional investors. The mom and pops that own 1 to 15 assets, 1 to 10, 1 to 50, up to 50 assets, they've been doing it on their own their entire life. Just figuring it out, dude. People are just figuring out how to buy real estate, leverage other real estate to buy more real estate. They manage them on their own. Maybe they have somebody that's helping them manage them. More often than not, are doing a pretty poor job. They don't know how to underwrite their properties. They don't know what it looks like to evaluate the properties. They don't know what it looks like to force equity. What needs to be done to continue to grow their real estate portfolio is what we're here for. We're here to help them understand this is where room for improvement is in your real estate portfolio. Clients come to us, here's our portfolio, here's how we're doing, here's our income, here's our expenses for each property. We give them analysis on what their property's worth. And we tell them what we think their property could be doing. and then we show them based on the income or the equity that's in that property, what their equity that's in that property, that's locked in that property, could be doing it if it was in like a multifamily asset, or if it was in a short-term rental, or if it was in anything. It doesn't matter. Triple net leases, DSTs, tenant in common. There's a lot of options for people to move the money in real estate without having to pay Uncle Sam's through 1031 exchanges, but people don't know how to evaluate how good they're doing. They just know that they're seeing cash in the bank every month, and they feel like they're doing well, and they usually are, but there's always room for improvement. And the question always is, if I can show you how you could do better, would you at least entertain the idea? Like, would you be open to hearing about it?
I love it. So you took this high net worth, how do I want to say it? I had the right wording.
Say it.
You basically took this this process that is working at an institutional level and brought it down to like a boutique, like luxury,
everyday investor, and basically come to these people, and you give them that same kind of service and experience that they would have if they were like an institution, that they deserve,
and more personal like relationship.
It's what they deserve.
I love it. And it's like they have their own advisor. They have their own advisor with you guys.
If you own $10 million in assets and you're still dealing with a typical agent, you're probably doing fine, but you're probably doing it on your own.
And you're probably leaving something on the table.
Why not work with somebody that can help you? I can do the same thing that agent does. Why wouldn't you work with me? Because I can help you. Not only do I have a off-market database of 40, 50 like single-family, multifamily in larger homes in San Diego, San Luis Obispo, Orange County, in the Bay Area. I have quite a few relationships with individuals that have given me access to their portfolios that would sell if they had an offer that came in a certain range. And I brought a buyer to them that would cooperate within their 1031 exchange. I have a lot of opportunities off market, but not only do I have these opportunities, but I have the opportunities on market that every other agent out there has, that you have access to. Not only can I help you look at these assets or bring these assets to you, but I can evaluate them and figure out what makes the most sense, not only from a financial standpoint, but I can help you understand how it gets you closer to whatever your goal is. Sometimes it's not about the financial goal. It's about becoming a little bit more hands-off. Well, what does that look like? Well, we help our clients understand what that looks like. Help them wrap their head around, I can go from 10 single-family homes that I'm managing on my own to a larger $10 million multifamily asset with property management in place that handles everything, and I just get a paycheck every month.
If you had to describe the DNA of a CCG advisor in one sentence, what would it be?
Servant leadership. 2 words. Lead others with a servant's heart.
Oh, bro, you could be a poet.
Put other people's goals and interests above your own and do what's right by them. Take care of them. Do the best of your ability.
Mission, man.
Again, don't seek perfection, seek excellence and the best you can do at that time. And have the confidence that you are doing the best for your clients, and make sure that you are. Go out there and reach out to the people that know better than you, that have more information than you, that have more resources than you, and help bridge the gap for your clients. That's what we're about. We're about identifying where they are and defining where our clients are, and then defining where they want to be. And for us, the goal is always to bridge that gap. And the only way we can bridge the gap is with our skill set and the people that we know, the resources that we have.
Just go off topic for a second. I heard you talking about another podcast, how McDonald's and In-N-Out gets their meat, and when you would be able to actually tell which cow was going to McDonald's and which one was going to In-N-Out.
Oh, man, the twister. Yeah, that was interesting. So I was raised on a stockyard for a large part of my life, and we were just a stockyard is a place that people bring cows to.
Yeah.
For their cows to go to auction and sell.
Okay.
And buyers come bid for the cows, and they'll take their cows to wherever.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do with them. And it was an interesting time in my life. I got to see quite a lot of a lot of weird stuff, man. A lot of weird, some gross stuff. Some of these cows that came through the stockyard, I knew where they were going before they even got before they got out of the trailer.
So how did you know if one was going to In-N-Out or one was going to McDonald's?
Oh, whether or not I could walk. No, I mean, yeah, almost. There's larger buyers that buy cows that are pretty much getting close to their deathbed. They got to go.
Okay.
Like their health is an issue. They're at the end of their life. They're no longer producing milk. Usually these cows are just less valuable. They have less utility. They have one outcome. Like the next step is obviously going to be to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
And those that get closer, those that are closest to that day of death, I guess you could say, the day for which they get slaughtered were the ones that we always knew they're going to McDonald's. There was basically a buyer that would buy these type of cows to be processed. We'll use that word. And sometimes, we would even just open up the gates and just allow the one that we finally got to start walking and like stumbling around. Don't stop them. Just allow them to get all the way through, the stockyard. Just walk straight through to the gate for which they're going. Like, we know where you're going.
Yeah.
End of its life. It's just kind of sad, but yeah.
So McDonald's buys the cheaper meat, like the one that's dying?
Yeah, they don't buy the highest quality cow.
Yeah.
The one that's more expensive.
does have better quality.
It was always better quality. Yeah. It was always.
You can taste the difference.
I don't know if it's just that, but there's definitely it's interesting. Yeah. Life experience, man.
Okay, so I have some rapid fire questions for you. So, what's the dumbest investment advice you've ever heard?
Dumbest investment advice. I'm not giving you a rapid answer, am I? One just doesn't ring a bell. Like, doesn't just come naturally to my mind. I can think about things.
You got a lot of good advice, huh?
I just got nothing but good advice. That's all it is. I try to stay away from the dumb stuff. Whenever it comes in one ear, I just let it go out the other ear. I don't want to hold on to that.
Should agents be more like therapists or more like CEOs?
Therapists or CEOs? CEOs. You're running a business. It is business. You're not cutting someone's hair. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Running as such. Run a process like it matters, because it does. Tens of thousands of dollars on the line. It's not your money. Although at the end of the day, the better your clients do, the better you do. But that doesn't mean you should, be a CEO.
3 words that describe the future of real estate.
Three words that describes the future of real estate. Lucrative. Expensive. Opportunistic.
What's a green flag you see in a real estate deal?
Ugly. Uglier the asset, the better opportunity is.
You kind of already answered this, but land or multifamily, which is the smarter long play?
Well, not necessarily. They're not making more land next to the water.
So location?
Location is definitely. Buy the land.
They ain't making any more.
They're not making any more. But multifamily is a great resilient asset to own. Recession resilient asset to own. There's great opportunity, quick money to be made there. Land takes more skills for sure. to be able to capitalize on. But I mean, if you're just holding land or holding multifamily, you're definitely gonna have more headaches with. Have you ever heard of the terrible T's?
What are the terrible T's?
Toilets, tenants, trash. There's a few of them. You deal with the terrible T's with multifamily, but with land, you don't want to get that. I would say, honestly, it depends with the context of the question. If you're buying land in the middle of BFE, don't do it. It's not going to appreciate. But if you're buying land on the water or multifamily on the water, both are great assets.
Doesn't matter where the water is, or would you say like specific places? Like anything on the waters will be valuable, probably, right?
You're safe.
Cool. If you could only give your child one piece of financial advice, what would it be?
Bet on yourself.
I love it. All right, 3 more questions. What does the real estate game look like 10 years from now, and who's going to win?
Those that have to have real value to bring to the table, experience. Zillow's already getting rid of most of agents out there. Buyer agents are falling off.
Yeah.
Technology is going to be a major disruptor in this space and continue to be as we progress. I think the individuals that have real skills, tangible skills, negotiating ability, knowledge, experience, they're going to have the hedge on this technology. This trend that we're seeing.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to there's going to be a lot of people exiting this space. And unless you have the resiliency and the tenacity to keep pushing and really continue to stack the skills, you're going to be left in the dust.
What legacy do you hope your great-grandkids read about you in your obituary?
I made everyone's life better. Every person I contacted came in contact with me.
If you could change this last question, if you could change one thing about how real estate is taught or regulated in America, what would it be?
I wish there was a greater barrier to entry. Anybody can pass that real estate exam. But there's a lot more that goes into it. I think the real estate exam, the barrier to entry to become a real estate agent is too low. There's a lot of skills, there's a lot of things that you learn with repetition, but you got to not burn, but you have to go through a couple transactions and fall on your face a few times before you're actually able to improve your process and save your clients money.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Silva. Thank you for turning in to another episode of Built to Scale. If you got value from today's episode, do me a quick favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone building something great. Your support helps the show grow and makes it easier for me to bring on even bigger names and incredible guests like Mr. Silva here, so thank you so much. Follow me, Quinn Vincent, on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok for daily behind-the-scenes insights and momentum to fuel your journey. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, and remember, legacy isn't given, it's built.